As the economy continues to reopen, big manufacturers hardly hit by the health crisis are slowly back on track towards their pre-pandemic performance. Procter & Gamble's Raffy Fajardo joins us to share with us their plans in the coming months. Raffy, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. Over 200 areas in the country are now under the lowest alert level, and consumer spending is picking up yet again. What has been the impact on your business, on Procter & Gamble?
It's very felt as a positive trend because as people go out, consumption's increasing. More people are in the supermarkets. We're seeing, a bounce back in consumption, which is great. But Rico, to be honest, even during the pandemic, we've been largely able to operate our business quite unhampered. We have three big objectives always, right? First is the safety of our employees. We've been largely able to do that, so we're so fortunate to have that. Second is to continue serving the needed essentials for consumers. P&G is the largest consumer goods company in the world. In Philippines, there's practically at least one P&G product in every household. So we're so fortunate that we're able to continue doing that in all of the months of the pandemic. And obviously, the consumption of that is increasing as the economy opens up. And third, we've been a force for good in nation building and partnering with many institutions like the Department of Health. So Rico, it's good. We're happy things are opening up. But even before that, we're also still fortunate that we've been able to largely operate unhampered.
So did the pandemic in any way, Raffy, transform the consumer goods sector? What did you learn from this pandemic over the past 2 years?
We learned many things, Rico. I'll just revolve around the three priorities that I said. We learned how to better keep our employees safe and still productive. For a large part of our, general office, we've learned how to work from home unhampered. We've learned how to keep our plant employees safe. In fact, some of our, hygiene and safety practices in the plant have been lauded by local governments and have been reapplied to other manufacturing sites. Second is, from a business standpoint, we've revamped our supply chain. Rico, we actually just opened our second distribution center in Cebu. First time ever P&G has a presence in that area. We opened it just a few months ago, right at the tail end of this pandemic. So our business, we've continued to invest on that one. And third, we continue to partner with institutions, government, to on nation building. We actually have given more than 200 million worth of aid in hygiene kits, in masks. We changed our manufacturing to be able to produce masks early in the pandemic. That was an item of need, if you remember, the first 3-4 months of the pandemic. And lately, we've been working with the Red Cross to even to give access to more vaccines to the underprivileged and the ones who have mobility challenges. So it's been good so far, Rico.
And on another topic, Raffy, we just capped off Women's Month yesterday. How important is it for Procter & Gamble Philippines to have gender equality in its workforce?
It's very important, Rico. It's the right thing to do, first and foremost, right? We're a very merit-based company. We believe that you can progress based on your contributions, your skills, and we don't want to have any bias on gender, religion, and those discriminatory items, right? I'm proud to say in P&G, Rico, more than 50% of our workforce is actually women. If you go at the management level, sort of the top 30% of our management level, it's even higher. We're around 53 to 54% of our managers are actually women. And we have 3 sites in Philippines, right? I'm heading the sales and marketing operation. We have a service center and we have a Cabuyao plant. It's in Laguna. So I'm the site head for one of the 3 sites. The 2 other sites heads, our plant manager and the service center head, they're actually female. So technically, the highest up in P&G Philippines, 2 out of 3 of us, are actually female. So that's a source of pride for us. And we're finding that it's good for business. It's good for the organization. It's one of the best proof that we are merit-based. It's what you achieve. It's what you accomplish. It's not necessarily what your gender is, what your religion is. So so proud of that.
That is indeed wonderful news, Raffy. And as an ally of gender equality, what do you do to empower women and address their needs, especially those for working mothers?
Rico, there's several layers to this, right? The first, and I would say probably the most important layer, is a personal layer. We have to make it personal. We have to genuinely believe and role model why it's important for more women to actually have the opportunity to succeed in the workplace, right? I'm a girl dad. I have two girls, Rico, and I personally hope that when they grow up and they join the workforce, that the world that they face would be actually more equal and they have more opportunities than maybe women of the past, right? So that's very personal, that's very genuine, and that's the story I keep sharing to our employees. So that's a very personal level. I use this to have conversations, personal conversations with many of our women and trying to empower them and what does it take to make them succeed. One simple story here is, we just have a newly promoted mom in our leadership team. She actually just came back from maternity leave. We promoted her, and she's obviously nursing and pumping for her baby, right? And she's in sales, and sales typically entails a lot of field work, right? Going to the field, seeing customers, seeing stores, and having conversations with her. Hey, how can we help? What does help look like for your situation, for your context? And even little stuff from those conversations make a big difference. For example, when we go on sales checks and store checks and field work, Rico, we just allocate a different car or vehicle for her so she can actually have the privacy to be able to express. We actually choose our fieldwork times and dates in such a way that it helps her, right? She has no fly zone where she needs to be with the baby, and we try to work around those. So that's at a very, again, personal conversation level. On top of that, we actually create programs that make it more equal for women. I'm glad to say we actually pioneer some of this, industry-leading policies, like even before it was enacted in law, mothers in PNG have 105 days of paid leave. Thankfully, it was adopted a year later into law in the Philippines. So now that's a law. Every mom in the Philippines has to be paid for 105 days after they give birth. We actually started that a year before, and that was one of the inspirations as they were enacting that law in the Philippines. So very many layers, but personal and policy level, I would say, are the most important.
Well, thank you so much for sharing these initiatives with us. On The Final Word, PNG's Raffy Fajardo.